The life of a showgirl, unfortunately, is giving the life of a no girl. And everyone, including your grandma, has something to say about it. Taylor Swift, not a girl's girl. Taylor Swift, low-key racist. Taylor Swift, secretly MAGA?
Taylor Swift is just coming out as MAGA with this new album. Why else would she have a song saying that she likes her friends being canceled and soaked in a scandal?
Have a couple kids, have the whole block looking like you. I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous.
Taylor Swift has poisoned the water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague onto our houses.
He did? No, but are we just gonna wait around until he does?
The timeline of how we got from this type of Taylor to the ever so hated online Taylor Swift is a timeline that goes absolutely feral, and I'm here to deep dive into it. Hello everybody, it is me, Salem, and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic, Taylor Allison Swift, and why people are saying this about her.
The song Wish List on Taylor Swift's new album is just tradwife propaganda. It's just tradwife propaganda.
This is gonna be a long one. When you ask the words, do you listen to Taylor Swift or do you like Taylor Swift? That question alone will warrant two types of visceral and passionate reactions. One of those reactions being, oh my god, I love my girl Tay Tay. I love Travi. I don't know. Anyways. And then the second reaction is, oh my god, I literally hate Taylor Swift. She is so cringy, greedy billionaire, and I would rather drink shards of glass than listen to blank space, okay? There is no middle ground even when you ask the simple question, do you like Taylor Swift or do you listen to Taylor Swift? It's always dramatic. The question in itself sparks a debate whether she's a valid artist, whether she deserves the recognition that she has, whether she deserves the millions, well, billions at this point that she has. Does she deserve the fan base that she has? Is she even a good artist? So of course the actual content, lyricism, and rollout of this new album, The Life of the Showgirl, was kind of bound to start like a war zone in every single comment section. Every single person has a hot take on this. Even loyal Swifties like the Swiftologist said that unfortunately this is not her best work.
Okay, suddenly I feel like a fool in my headdress.
Taylor unfortunately left crumbs everywhere, and this time the Swifties are not wanting to pick them up for her. That is how bad this album is. The conversations that are being had around this album are ones that are very, very intense.
Taylor Swift is gaslighting you. Taylor Swift either intended all of these microaggressions or dog whistles, or she was aware of them and has decided not to do anything about it because she wants to make a buck at the end of the day.
In the words of Miss Swiftiana herself, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. Even though The Life of the Showgirl is a completely new era, all of these conversations, debates, and comment section war zones are actually nothing new. Every few years, the internet collectively decides it's Taylor Swift cancellation season again. Same accusations, same theories, just a whole new vibe. It's almost like clockwork, but this time, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of different. Because she's not just a pop star anymore. She's basically like a walking economy. So when people call her a capitalist or out of touch, it's no longer punching down at the innocent, young guitarist girl who sings romance ballads who was victimized by Kanye West. It's just at this point true. She keeps reinventing herself era after era, album after album, partner after partner, colleagues she collabs with after colleagues that she collabs with, lawsuit after lawsuit, but somehow she keeps getting dragged for the same things. Taylor Swift herself, no matter how much she hates it or doesn't want to be, is inherently political. She is a powerhouse and is an industry herself. And there's unfortunately no running away from that, which is why so many people are hopping on this train of her Life of the Showgirl era to talk about just how weirdly tone deaf, petty, and bad it is, and how it reflects on our society as a whole. Imagine dropping an album so messy that it made Colleen Ballinger, aka the ukulele apology child groomer, suddenly feel kinship towards a song all about being canceled.
That's a good lyric. Oof. Brutal.
I do like to call myself a Swiftie with, you know, a conscience. I'm not gonna coddle a literal billionaire and sit here and look at y'all through the pixels on the screen into your eyeballs and tell you that the life of the showgirl was good, guys. Or that she's totally not the queen of capitalism. Or she totally doesn't sue everyone. Or this new era of hers is totally not problematic, guys. Because, literally, that would be lying. And I don't lie. Sometimes. But not today. I am not a billionaire. I have to get that shmoney somehow, guys. So here's a quick word from our sponsor. Do I look like Taylor Swift? I'm in my look rich, spend smart era, and Quince is literally the perfect brand to help you feed your delusion. They make premium quality basics, cashmere, silk, leather, all that, but everything is around 50% less than similar brands because they skip the middleman. Okay, first of all, the Mongolian cashmere shrunken crewneck in black, it's giving quite confidence, you know? Then there's the stretch crepe trench coat in coffee bean brown, which is literally perfect for the fall time right now, especially because I literally live where they filmed Twilight. It's super cold here. The alpaca wool stand collar coat is giving main character, and these organic cotton boxy tees in black and white are the kind of basics that make people think you plan out your outfits when in reality you're just throwing it on. And the best part is that Quince is actually ethical and sustainable, so you can look good and have morals, okay? And I love that for us. Upgrade your wardrobe, home, and more with high-end essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/Salem for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. The internet's opinions of Taylor and her music has layers, very much like an onion. Each layer of capitalist allegations, MAGA propaganda, all lead back to the core of the onion with this version of Taylor. You guys have to remember that Taylor didn't just emerge as a pop star overnight. She came up through country music, you know? A genre with a long, complicated history tied to whiteness and exclusion. So when she first blew up with her blonde hair, blue eyes, acoustic guitar in hand, she wasn't just the innocent country girl next door. She was being positioned as America's sweetheart, the acceptable face of Southern purity. And it wasn't just media portraying her as such. A lot of extremist online spaces picked her up as kind of the Aryan ideal, which is obviously very disturbing. She didn't necessarily create that image, but she definitely did benefit from it. During her 2013 squad culture era, narrative kind of picked up even more, with her friends supposedly branded as feminist, but it was very visibly exclusive. It was tall, thin, conventionally beautiful white women like Karlie Kloss, Gigi Hadid, and Lily Aldridge. I remember a lot of critics at the time said that she used feminism as an aesthetic and not an inclusive movement. This critique of Taylor grew even bigger during her reputation in white feminism era, with the Bad Blood music video and the feud with Nicki Minaj over the VMAs. Nicki also went on Twitter, as she always does, to tweet, "If your video celebrates women with very slim bodies, you'll be nominated for Vid of the Year. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face." Taylor Swift, the person who was nominated for Vid of the Year, says, "I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your slot, ... Nicki responded to Taylor by saying that her tweets were not about her. Taylor then later apologized for this misunderstanding. They even went on to actually perform together later that year too. But then around 2014, when the very viral Shake It Off music video was released, Taylor immediately got a bunch of backlash for cultural appropriation. This was also a year around the Taylor the Sewer narrative started to catch fire by trademarking common phrases like "haters gonna hate." It was also around this time where Taylor kind of was being actively taken advantage of constantly by the people around her, whether it was other artists such as Katy Perry, dancer poaching her behind her back to ruin her tour, to Taylor having to go through a sexual assault trial. In 2016, Kanye released a song called Famous with lyrics about Taylor, plus a wax figure of her completely naked in bed. With only 2 years later, Scooter Braun selling all of her original work from up until that point to someone else, completely without her input, learning quickly that the industry is never going to be her friend. So, in order to defend herself, she must become it. Her album Reputation talks all about this concept, and her accepting her role of becoming the industry in order to protect her and her art. She's always existed in this weird space between empowerment and exploitation, being both the victim and the empire, the oppressed and the oppressor. The only difference is now is the scale. She's way too big for the old narratives to stay small like they used to. So when she makes songs like this on Life of a Showgirl called Father Figure, where she literally sings about this power dynamic. You want to fight? You found it. I got the place surrounded. You'll be sleeping with the fishes before you know you're drowning. Whose portrait's on the mantle? Who covered up your scandals? Mistake my kindness for weakness and find your card cancelled. I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. This empire belongs to me. Leave it with me. It feels off-putting. It feels weird. It feels like people have finally realized that Taylor's power and money is actually very scary, and people aren't sure whether to dance to the song or completely turn it off.
Of these situations, right? Like I relate to the younger one. Like when I'm listening to this song, like even though it's from the perspective of the father figure character. You know, the spice level on this album is high.
Yeah, it is.
Is that what he calls it?
One of the very first problems that people had with this album is that it unfortunately sounds like a lot of other people's artistic work. Some songs that sound like it's straight up from the Jackson 5. Some of them sound like they're from the Jonas Brothers, and even Lord's Yellow Flicker beat, Girl. You know, the one that was from Hunger Games? Unfortunately, Taylor Swift gives precedence. No. You didn't hear it from me. And almost immediately this started a lot of debate online, because we all know that Taylor Swift, as much as I love my good tia Taylor, she unfortunately really do be suing people for even breathing wrong in her direction. And this kind of happened with Olivia Rodrigo when she was 18 years old, when she first started her music career with Driver's License, which became super huge. A lot of people also call Olivia the original Tay daughter, which, let's be honest, she is. That meaning getting Taylor's blessing to become the like pop rock girly that she is, and basically supporting her, and even going as far as giving her the ring that she wrote Red with to Olivia as a sign of kinship. Well, again, too bad that friendship literally disintegrated and got revoked like her driver's license, because all of a sudden Taylor Swift and her team slid in like, hey bestie, love the song, but it sounds similar, and now we're gonna be taking 50% of the earnings and you have to give me writing credit. Olivia's better than me, because even though I love Taylor, I would have been like, girl, suck my ass. Olivia did say that she was heavily inspired by Taylor, but wasn't copying her. But the inspiration apparently costs extra when your idol is a billionaire with legal representation. And sure, it wasn't a full-on lawsuit. A lot of people think that she actually sued Olivia. She didn't technically. Taylor got the credits, the royalties, and the narrative control, which again is pretty ironic. This is also around the time where Hayley Williams did the same exact thing to Olivia Rodrigo, and they since have parted ways and don't really talk about each other anymore. But because of that case happening, a lot of people were mentioning a lot. It's kind of just crazy that Taylor would do that to a young, aspiring, on-the-rise artist, while all of her music on this album sounding like someone else's work. Even going as far to sample Father Figure by George Michael, which, by the way, this song also started a huge debate because of the concept. It hints at authority figures and mentor-mentee relationships, which fans speculate might reference her past industry experiences, such as power imbalances, control over her master, writing, Scooter Braun, Scott Borchetta, but many also speculate that it's also about Olivia, as halfway through the song, Taylor kind of owns that she is now the father figure and has the ability to basically destroy anyone who stands in her way. And I'm not gonna lie, listening to this song, I was like, wait, well, I'm kind of scared right now. Like, I'd be scared. Also, the edits of Anakin slaying people and then becoming Darth Vader to this song, it makes sense. Like, it gives those vibes. Like, it gives Anakin turning into Darth Vader vibes, guys. And truly, I feel like that's the perfect metaphor to describe Taylor Swift's career. And unfortunately, Olivia Rodrigo was part of the younglings. Her track Father Figure reflects how she's no longer the artist, but she's also the powerhouse in the music industry, which definitely raises questions of her, you know, morality. I will say, I actually really like this song. I do like her darker concepts. I do like when she owns the fact that she is scary and she is powerful and she does sue people. Like, there's no hiding from that. There's no shielding herself from that. If I was rich, man, I'd be suing a lot of people too, I ain't gonna lie. So imagine if she made a song being like, guys, I don't sue people and I'm a girl's girl. Like, no, you're not. So honestly, I don't really understand the debate over this song because I would rather someone who is a billionaire and actually does sue people to admit it rather than acting like she doesn't. The one song that made me feel like she definitely is Delulu is Wishlist, which also sparked its own debate as well. This song is all about people having their wish lists, as Taylor describes it. People want that yacht life. They want a private island. They want Balenciaga. They want private jets. They want a $15 million house. But guys, Taylor doesn't want that. She just wants to have a couple kids with Travis and she wants a basketball hoop in the driveway. Did SZA and Taylor swap places? Because she's lying. Like what? Even though the song is cute on the surface of her talking about how she wants to finally settle down after girl bossing herself too close to the sun and she like wants to have kids and everything, which I find very cute. Girl, let's not pretend like you're not materialistic. Unlike the father figure song where she openly admits that she is a powerhouse in the music industry that has the ability to take anyone down, this song is just pure like, I don't like, whose life are you writing about? Girl, let's be so for real. Let's not act as if you don't drive your private jet to go get a snack at 7-Eleven in the middle of the night. Like, hello? I know you like your squashies, girl, which first of all, me too. But anyways, like, let's not pretend, let's not pretend, you know? I think it's very just hypocritical to make a song all about like, I'm not materialistic. And then the next day you literally were in a photo shoot where you were drenched out in Gucci. Girl, it's okay to be rich. Well, it's not okay to be a billionaire. Just own the fact that you are rich. Like, hello? I feel like a track that does this really well is actually Elizabeth Taylor, where Taylor Swift is comparing her life to Elizabeth Taylor, a very famous actress with violet eyes, who was always at the center of scrutiny because of her love life and living a very glamorous, privileged life at the time. The song is dramatic. It is very showgirl. And I think it does a way better job at, you know, accomplishing the showgirl message than this song. In Elizabeth Taylor, she talks about how she's in a super fancy hotel and she has this beautiful sight and she's just thinking about Travis and she's talking about like, be my NY when Hollywood hates me, and she's being dramatic, and I'm like, girl, yes, give us more of that. And in the same album, she has this song, Wishlist, where she's talking about how I just want to have a kid with you. Like, girl. Also, guys, do not judge my singing. I am not the singer here, okay? She even says in this song, like, they want that 3 dogs that they call their kids, which first of all, don't come for dinks who have dogs that they call their kids, because my dogs, Roxy and Kenji, like, they still need to go to dog college, okay? So I'm working hard. Not all of us are billionaires, okay? Like, I have to actually work to put my dogs through college, okay? They are my children. I gave birth to them. And then Taylor was literally talking about how it was going to be a crazy cat lady before she met Travis. So again, people are just like, girl, ain't no way you're switching up that hard over some D. Like, get up, girl, get up. Another point of debate with this particular song, Wishlist, is that many people were claiming that it was promoting eugenics, which is a really big jump. But I'll insert the clip of someone talking about why this is considered problematic.
But I just want you, have a couple kids, have the whole block looking like you. And then say that again. I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous.
This is where the allegations of Taylor making a secret Republican MAGA tradwife album started to arise.
The song Wishlist on Taylor Swift's new album is just tradwife propaganda. It's just tradwife propaganda.
With track 8, her saying that she wants kids is the equivalent of her basically saying she wants to stay home and pop out kids like Carissa Collins and have them barefoot and all reading the Bible 10 times a day, which I'm like, girl, how did you get that from that? People saying also that Taylor Swift saying, have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you, that means that she wants the neighborhood to look white. But I mean, let's be for real, guys. What other color of kid would Taylor Swift give birth to? Mexican? I mean, I'm Mexican and like, what am I supposed to give birth to? A white kid? My husband's Salvadoranian. Am I supposed to give birth to a white child named Gilbert? Like, what do you want from her? I don't get it. I think the biggest crime of Wishlist is just honestly being tone deaf about how rich she is. And it's like, girl, you are not dreaming about having no damn basketball hoop in your damn driveway. Like, let's be for real. But along with the racist allegations, one song in particular on this album by the name of Opalite sparked so much racial debate because of the lyrics in Opalite. Sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite. Critics point out that onyx is commonly associated with the rock onyx, whereas opalite is synthetic, whitish gem. Some interpret this as a metaphor for the transition from a black ex, aka Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, to a white branded version, aka Taylor. The allegations got even stronger as one of the lyrics in Opalite was, "You were in it for real, she was in her phone," which is most likely a reference to Travis Kelce's ex, who is a woman of color, which actually ended up having some really dumb Swifties who literally had damn rocks for brains to go send her hate. It's like, girl, what? Taylor was describing this song. She talks about how opalite is a man-made gem and how she sees happiness as something basically like that gemstone where you have to make it. So therefore, you have to make your own happiness, such as opalite, and escaping the dark nights, such as on Midnights, her album, where she spent endless nights crying in bed and being very depressed, escaping that onyx night into something more lighthearted and beautiful. She also said that opalite reminds her of Travis's eyeballs, which is sweet, and also I feel like not as deep as people are making it seem.
Travis's birthstone is an opal, so it's like that I've always fixated on that. I've always loved that stone, and I thought it was a kind of a cool metaphor that like it's a man-made opal and happiness can also be man-made too.
Yes.
So that's kind of what the song is about, is that the kind of juxtaposition of those two.
However, the sentiment kind of trickled down into another song of Taylor's called Eldest Daughter, because she used the lyrics, "But I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage," which first of all is very cringy. And I'm not really the perfect person to say whether or not this is bad or not. The only thing that I can say is Taylor Swift is not cool. Despite her being rich and powerful and everything, the one thing Taylor Swift has never been in her life is cool. And she will let you know that. And everyone who is a Swiftie knows that she desperately wants to be cool. This is why she constantly kind of gathers around whoever's popping at the time. Olivia Rodrigo, that little Mexican girl be crying. 0 out of 10. I met Olivia Rodrigo. She also hung out with Troye Sivan for a while. She also had that weird girl group that she would hang around a lot during her 1989 era, like the most popular people, making the Bad Blood video with the most popular people, because she's not sure how to stand alone and be cool as that. She's notoriously known for being cringy, painfully kind of like a unsalted, saltine cracker, which is why now you see her kind of picking up on Sabrina Carpenter, is one of the biggest pop stars right now, on her personality and quirks in her music, which I heard a lot of Sabrina inspiration throughout this entire album, with her being very sexual, trying to be like quirky and fun with like innuendos and stuff. But unfortunately, because it's Taylor Swift, it came off as very forced and gross and cringy. Like, girl, what you mean he traumatized you and opened your thighs? I did not need to know that. The reason why I bring that up is because the next lyric is literally about how she's not cool and she's been dying trying to be. I think it was very tone deaf, but the lyricism was definitely more about how even though she is very popular, she will never be the cool kid. And unfortunately, I actually agree. As much as I love my Tia Taylor, I'm telling you. And also, I'm not sure why she decided to go with these lyrics when the original lyrics were, "I'll tell you something, I would come running and I'm never gonna let you drown." So all of this could have been avoided. Those lyrics are literally a million times better. But I think she switched it for context, in contrast of her saying that she's never felt cool, despite her being popular. However, it still fell completely flat on its face. I think throughout this album, Taylor just doesn't understand how big she is. The song actually Romantic on Life of a Showgirl is actually a diss track kind of against Charli XCX. This isn't the first time that Taylor has made a song kind of like, you can't pick on me. She's made the song Mean in one of her older albums where she talks about this one old guy who was like really obsessed with her. She made a song about Kim Kardashian called Thank You Amy, and when you look at the words it says like F you Kim or something like that, and like a lot of people were like, girl, get over it, it's been years. So Taylor tends to hold on to stuff, and she holds on to stuff hardcore, which first of all I'm like, period, because I love a petty queen. However, the lore behind this diss track that Taylor made called Actually Romantic on Life of a Showgirl, the energy just doesn't match the person who supposedly dissed her, which is my mother, Charli XCX. I truly am a child of divorce because I love Charli and I love Taylor, and I was not expecting this feud, like, at all. Actually Romantic is kind of a response to Charli's Sympathy is a Knife in her Brat album, which I knew right away that her song Sympathy is a Knife was about Taylor. In her song, she has lyrics such as, I couldn't be her if I tried, and as well as, I hope her and her boyfriend break up quick. I don't want to see her face back on my boyfriend's shows. Because at this time, Taylor Swift was dating Ratty on Heelys, aka Maddie Healy, and his friend group being the fiance of Charli XCX. Do you guys see how there are a lot of invisible strings here? But when you listen to the song is actually more about Charli and her feelings of insecurity when it comes to being a pop star and feeling like you have to compete against your own colleagues in the music industry, and just feeling like she will never be larger than life like some other people, aka Taylor Swift. She actually even went on Instagram Live to address it as well.
It's so complicated being an artist, especially a female artist, where you are pitted against your peers but also expected to be best friends with every single person constantly, and if you're not, you're like deemed a bad feminist. To me, it's just like such a unrealistic expectation, and we're not supposed to talk about it, but these songs do talk about it, and I'll probably be chastised for it, but whatever, it's reality.
So many people were shocked that Taylor actually wrote a song about Charli, basically ripping her to shreds over a song that clearly was just about Charli being vulnerable about how she feels in the music industry. The lyrics of this opening diss track song that Taylor made towards Charli, the first lyrics are literally, I heard you call me boring Barbie when the cokes got you brave. I'm at a loss for words, guys. I am at a loss for words. That is a crazy way to start out your song, with other lyrics like, you're not intimidating, girl, you remind me of a little chihuahua barking at me. That's like a literal lyric in the song. It felt very like clearly about Charli, let's just be honest. Like, she is a 365 party girl who does little lines in the bathroom, okay? Let's just be honest. She even sings about that in her music. Taylor also kind of shares behind the scenes feud tea by saying that apparently Charli told Taylor's ex to ghost her and break up with her, because now Taylor's ex, Ratty Healy, is engaged to Gabrielle, which is Charli's best friend. Now, girl, this is messy. You know I'm not the one for cheese man. Let's just say that. That's a lie. But what I mean is, like, this is messy, and I actually do believe people should be allowed to defend themselves and be petty, be messy when it comes to their artistry. I mean, the rap girlies do it all the time. I think pop girlies should do it too. The more the merrier. However, for someone's level of power as Taylor, a literal billionaire who owns like half the charts, to go after an artist like Charli who barely got very huge mainstream recognition last year for her Brat album, and like even going as far as to blocking her from getting #1 on the charts, which is something that she, you know, was wanting to accomplish for a really long time. It just comes off like she's the bully. It doesn't feel clever. It doesn't feel self-aware. It just feels like she's giving mean girl energy. And then we're left here wondering what happened to the whole girl boss, girl's girl version of Taylor. It just seems like there's this repetitive behavior of going towards rising female artists and completely punching down on them. And honestly, that is not fun nor fresh for her to do. Obviously, there's probably a lot more to the story. There's probably more stuff that Charli said. There's probably things behind the screen and behind the curtains that happened between that entire friend group that we will never know of. And maybe this diss track was supposedly warranted. But either way, what was shared publicly, which was Charli making a song about her own insecurity, did not warrant that response in my opinion. And finally, one of the songs that has gained the most debate is her song, Good Thing I Like My Friends Cancelled. I like them dripping Gucci and then scandal. Like, her song Cancelled, which honestly, when I first heard this song, I was like, oh, unfortunately, it's giving 2020 alt TikTok. And look, I'm not here to say that 2020 alt music is cringy and everything. I mean, I myself listen to Vocaloid, fan-made music. I literally attended a Living Tombstone concert to listen to the Five Nights at Freddy's remix song live. So like, I'm not here to judge. However, the reason why a lot of people are calling this song cringy is because the lyricism is just very cheesy. The concept is also just super like, girl, why? This song was so unnecessary. This song also accompanies really cringy lyrics such as girl bossing too close to the sun, as well as at least you know who your friends are. We're the ones with matching scars. Like, okay. It literally sounds like a song that could be from Disney's Descendants. Like, I'm literally not even joking. It also sounds almost exactly like Yellow Flicker Bee by Lorde, which first of all, y'all can never outdo that song. That song is iconic and I love it so much. Unfortunately, this song did not help with the MAGA allegations because a lot of people took this as a sign of like, you guys are gonna think that my songs are all dog whistles and I don't care.
Taylor Swift is just coming out as MAGA with this new album. Why else would she have a song saying that she likes her friends being canceled and soaked in a scandal? That entire song is a MAGA mother's anthem. Oh, wow.
Like someone said they could definitely see like J.K. Rowling using this song after all the critique she's gotten. And I thought people were genuinely joking until Colleen Ballinger, yes, the ukulele apology lady who literally made a ukulele song about saying sorry about grooming kids online, literally did a YouTube react of her crying to the canceled song.
Oof. Brutal. That wasn't what I was expecting for that song.
So basically, this has become, unfortunately, an anthem for really horrible people who deserved to get dragged through the mud. It's become an anthem for them to be like, I'm the bad guy, and so what? Bye, so cringy. And unfortunately, in today's political climate, this song mostly comes off as super tone deaf, as right now, no one really needs to be put in a position where I'm like, I'm gonna ignore my mistakes. And that one Facebook post I posted at 1 a.m. talking about how I love this political figure and I love taking away your rights. Good thing I like my friends canceled. Like, unfortunately, it gave those vibes. Unfortunately, okay? It comes off as like, we are the canceled friends club and we will rise. We rise. Like, Taylor, sit your ass down. Like, bro, you're embarrassing me. Like, this isn't you. Look at me, this isn't you. But unfortunately, like I said in the beginning of this video, this album definitely showed her white, rich woman privilege, tears, and tone deafness more than ever because, girl, what the hell is this? Making lacking accountability and scandal look romantic. That's what's actually romantic. You know, her song, Actually Romantic, she's romanticizing scandal. If her past albums, songs, and concepts were her defense statements, this one feels more of like a resignation. It's not defensiveness, it's dismissive at this point. And even after all the backlash in her post-interviews, it's felt this way too. Insert clamp.
I welcome the chaos. The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping.
Which unfortunately also didn't help her image, as there were a lot of moments in her post-interviews that many people found distasteful, such as her being on a talk show with another artist on the same stage as her, and apparently the artist said that he wasn't allowed to promote his album.
Yeah, I was told I wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Oh, what? By who?
Taylor looked shocked, but many people speculated that it's because Taylor was on the same panel as him. And unfortunately, with the disastrous album rollout, lyrics and concepts this album was, I don't blame people for speculating that. And then what landed her in even more fire was the amount of vinyl variants she did for this album. Me personally, I'm like, girl, I think some people were exaggerating about this. Plenty of artists will do like 1 million variants for their albums. Do I think Taylor Swift does too much? when it comes to this, absolutely. Then she got dragged even more for her merch for the life of the showgirl. Everything is hideous. This looks like someone skinned Sully from Monsters Inc. and then put it through the Temu factory and decided to sell it for like $100. This cardigan is ugly, and the reason why I didn't buy it is because I found this one, which is way cuter for cheaper. This t-shirt looks like, I don't know, it was made by AI. Unfortunately, Taylor Swift merch has been notoriously known for being pretty bad. I don't think I've ever been like on her website and been like, oh my god, I really want that, that's cute. It's always been like, oh. So anyways, when's the next album, sis? But something that also didn't really help the maggot allegations, unfortunately, was this jewelry piece that she decided to sell on her website. This is how I know this album rollout was done with no care. I don't know where her team has been, because long story short, Taylor's official merch website launched this necklace with lightning bolts on it, which was supposed to represent her Opalite song. The item actually sold out super quickly, but not before fans pointed out on Reddit that the lightning bolt design looked uncomfortably similar to the double S lighting insignia used by literal Yahtzee symbols. The backlash grew really bad to the point where Taylor's online store removed it shortly after, which is kind of wild. Although I do think that people are being, again, a tad bit dramatic, I don't blame them, because it just seems like every single step of this album rollout has been one PR crisis at a time and one careless misstep after another careless misstep. And now a lot of people are just saying that this is it. This is the death of Taylor Swift. This is the death of music itself. And this is the death of Taylor. She just needs to retire, and she will retire. And to that I say, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. Was this the worst album ever made in the world of music? Absolutely not. Was this the worst album that she's ever made? Absolutely. She admitted in the past that her biggest fear was finding the one, because it might make her songwriting worse. And honestly, maybe it did. And it's okay to admit, because Taylor's music has always been a mirror. Joe Allen was sad, British, and mysterious, and the climate at the time was sad, mysterious, and lost, so the overall ambiance of folklore was exactly that. Harry Styles was a fun, chaotic era. The vibrant colors, the chicness, and 1989 reflected that. But now she is no longer the cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. Girl, she's literally marrying the cheer captain. Or whatever that Travis Kelce does. I don't know. I don't watch sports. And I think that's what's truly the disconnect, that there isn't a lot of material for Taylor Swift to sing about anymore, because now that she's engaged, found the one, got her master's back, her life is basically almost exactly how she's always wanted it to be, and there's not much to sing about. I do anticipate that she will do more of the folklore type of album where she creates stories and characters to sing about. That would be very neat, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So then this leaves us with one big question. Who was this album for? And also, are you a bad person for liking Taylor Swift? This album simply wasn't meant for the audience this time around. Every artist will create a body of work that seems more so catered to their own feelings or what's happening in their own life that is completely unrelatable, or just themes that people don't really care about. There are so many artists that I can think of from the top of my head. An easy one that I can think of that I've always loved is Marina Diamandis, who made an album called Love and Fear. And girl, if y'all are part of that fandom, I remember people were going crazy because before, Marina would make so much music about being a woman in the industry, mental health issues, your relationship, war, famine. Like, girl, like she was really into talking about really difficult topics. And then her album Love and Fear was all about like her being in love and her dancing through the orange trees in her fancy house. And everyone was like, girl, what the hell is this? get back in the studio. It was a really hard time for Marina stans, okay? And that is just basically what this is. And here's the thing. I think artists should be allowed to make bodies of work that essentially isn't for the audience, which some people might think that that's ironic or useless. But no matter how useless and ironic you think that is or whatever, ultimately the artist is allowed to make whatever type of art that they want. Art is supposed to be subjective. It's supposed to spark debate and be a little messy. It's supposed to invoke, emotions, sadness, comfort, discomfort, even anger. And I think Taylor Swift was successful in doing that. So why does Taylor Swift end up in every single cultural meltdown? She always tends to be the lightning rod. And why is it that every single time she represents a certain version of fame, it kind of instantly clashes with the cultural zeitgeist? It's because Taylor is the perfect contradiction to whatever moment we're living in. Right now, we're in a culture climate obsessed with accountability, transparency, and moral alignment. Every influencer, celebrity, and brand is expected to have a stance politically, socially, and ethically. The internet doesn't just want art anymore, it also wants answers, clarity. And then there's Taylor. I truly do believe the entire aim of this album was to sell a vision of the fantasy, the spectacle, the look how shining my life is narrative. It's the showgirl dream. Endless sequins, luxury, confidence, control. A woman who's beautiful, powerful, untouchable, and completely unbothered by public opinion. But the problem is the cultural climate has completely shifted and Taylor Swift refuses to shift with it. We are living in the era of burnout, economic anxiety, loneliness, and people are desperate for something real. This is why right now music just isn't hitting the way that it's supposed to. And maybe she was trying to go for like recession pop, the way that the 2000s was, where everything was falling apart financially for all of our parents, but we were bumping it to MIA and like Far East movement and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it was not giving that at all because of the themes of the songs and the lyrics. She wanted this album to be about escapism and love and confidence and glamour. But unfortunately, she will always be political. Always. Because existing at her level as a billionaire, as a brand, as one of the most powerful cultural figures on basically planet Earth, is inherently political. The decisions she makes, the people she associates with, even the way she markets herself, all of it carries meaning, whether she wants to or not. And that sounds like an exhausting existence. It's kind of like a lose-lose situation. You say something, you lose. You don't say something, you lose still. And now with the whole narrative that Taylor is a secret Republican and that this Life of the Showgirl album is her basically doing a silent nod at affirming those beliefs, people are saying, no wonder Donald Trump wished them luck on their marriage. Now they think that Trump and her are besties, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what happened to context clues. Clearly he's being sarcastic. Clearly he's trying to hint at the fact that he thinks Taylor is the problem that's not gonna last. But I digress. Point is, people are not gonna stop with this narrative, and every single day it's been like almost a month since she released this album, and every single day there's something new coming out of someone thinking that she is a secret maggot, how she is trying to promote tradwifeism, and all these other crazy things. I honestly think in her head that this album was supposed to be, yay, I'm happy, sequins, sparkles. But then she kind of forgot that sequins are being made by underpaid kids in a factory in a third world country. Like, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are trying to make it seem like if you don't like this album, it's because you miss her depressed era and when she was sad and this and that. And honestly, I don't think that's what it was. I think ultimately what this was is you could hear the burnout at every single section, nooks and crannies of this album rollout, the merch, even the post interviews. She needed a break and she didn't take it because she's so desperate to be number one all the time. And some may say that that's the work ethic in her, and that's a good work ethic to have. But if you're already number one, and if you're so afraid to take a break for like a week because you're afraid that people are going to forget you in a week, I think that has to do more with kind of like how she needs to work internally on herself, because nothing's going to happen. It would have been better if she took a break and really came back with something super good, a little bit more polished, a little bit more clean. Even if it was the same concept, it still would have been better than what we got. So we answered the first question, which is, who is this album for? But now let's answer the second one. Are you a bad person for liking Taylor Swift? Well, that question and answer is pretty complex. lyrics. I'm a big believer that two things can be true at once, and I do believe that bad people can make good art just as good people can make bad art. I think of people like Kanye West, or even more recently Lily Allen, and we as humans have kind of evolved to accept the fact that people like this can still make pretty good art. But what happens when people already don't like you and then your art stops hitting? For example, like this.
Hurry up and die.
I think ultimately this is what's happening to Taylor Swift right now. If people hate you, but your art is undeniably good and you are genuinely a genius at your craft, society low-key lets you slide. Talent becomes your shield. But when people already think you're overhyped and privileged and then the art doesn't land, it's almost like, ain't no way. Guillotine. Now. Taylor Swift isn't being judged as a musician anymore. She's being judged as a concept, a system, and a product. Which then progresses this conversation to the morality of liking things. So not only Taylor is bad and she makes bad music, but the people who like her music are also bad. So every criticism that Taylor gets also trickles down to her audience. Hey, this person is bad and she makes bad art. So therefore, you are bad too, especially if you like her right now. And there must be something wrong with you too. You must be hiding something. Suddenly, you're a capitalist sympathizer, delusional, anti-feminist, privileged, and cringeworthy. Whereas if you're a fan of someone who is unlikable but makes really good music, well, you're just a Kanye fan. Or, well, you're just a Lily Allen fan. Criticism stops trickling down because good art is considered a pre-apology to any criticism that you can give that person and their fan base. It's like the criticism doesn't really stop at the artist, it hits the fans too. Literally, it hits the fan, get it? And then you have to start defending your taste like you're at a moral trial, which is why Taylor's fan base is as strong as it is. Because the best and fastest way to build biggest fan bases is to make their fave look like they're always constantly being under attack. And since Taylor Swift's problems trickle down to her audience, they're also always under attack. And it's like kind of this weird trauma bond, victim complex thing. I don't know, but it works. But I digress. Point is, Taylor Swift is no longer in the place to be making just mid music. Despite many people thinking that she already has, it just is no Folklore or Evermore. Let's just say that. Despite many male artists nowadays and forever in time making not only bad people but making even worse art. But again, I'ma let that slide. Supposedly well media trained billionaire pop star making mediocre art. Really, there's no space for that, and that's also treated like a cultural betrayal. I think ultimately the biggest thing with this entire album's pre-rollout to the debut, to the cover art, to the lyrics, to the concepts, everyone was afraid to tell this woman no. And I said in the beginning of this video that Taylor's album, The Life of a Showgirl, truly was giving the life of a no girl. What I really meant was that no one in Taylor's circle were willing to tell her, this is a bad idea, these colors are not it, you should probably not do this, and just have the courage to tell her no. She's reached that level of fame where every idea she has is treated like some sort of genius by default, and when no one challenges you, you start to live in a creative echo chamber. It starts to really pick up on your work. You yourself not knowing when it's time to take a break. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the exhaustion in this album, even in some of her vocals, not just in the lyrics, but also in the making of the music. During her demo sessions with Max Martin, you can hear this subtle hesitation in his voice when he gives feedback, like he's holding back. Even he's afraid to tell Taylor no, or give her some sort of criticism or notes.
They ripped me off like false luscious and threw me away. Wish I'd hurry up and die. Something, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe, okay, sorry. It should be fluent, like. I love what you did though.
I have it.
Taylor sounds rushed, like she's in a hurry to get the ideas out before she can second guess them. It's not sloppy, but it's very heavily unfiltered. Comparative to people like Ariana Grande, who also worked with Max Martin and also gave out her pre-recordings and demos for free, unlike Taylor, where she worked with Max Martin to create Eternal Sunshine. She was taking notes, being collaborative, and you can hear the excitement in Max Martin's voice.
It's supposed to sound. It's exactly the way you imagined it in your head. It's a very interesting feeling that happens for me. I'm really happy.
Yay!
With Taylor, you can tell this era was more of a release for her. A finally I can breathe again moment after years for fighting for her masters and surviving the emotional and physical torture that was the Eras tour. She herself admitting that she just wanted to make something without overthinking it, which, to be fair, she definitely has earned. As much as you like or don't like Taylor Swift, she has absolutely earned her place in the music industry by being a very smart businesswoman, knowing how to play the game, and whether you like her vocals or her song styles or not, her lyricism in many of her heart-wrenchingly, devastatingly beautiful songs are to die for. However, by going too loose with this project, she accidentally lost the sharpness that made her albums feel good, clean, and airtight. She unfortunately in this era just let way too much slip through the cracks. In her newest album, The Life of the Showgirl, in the title track, she says, "You're sweeter than a peach, but you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe, and you're never ever gonna. The more you play, the more you pay. You're softer than a kitten, so you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe, and you're never gonna wanna." And truly, I do think that is where her current attitude and goal for this era was. We're just not supposed to know what it's like to be Taylor, and I think she's over people trying to fill in the gaps of who she is whenever she does take a break or wants to take extra time before making a statement or anything like that. And for a lot of fans, that realization feels like a heartbreak. It's like watching a friend you thought you knew transform into someone completely untouchable. And this is exactly why people polarize her, because when an artist becomes bigger than the art, she stops being a musician and she becomes a symbol. Taylor Swift just isn't a person anymore to many people. She's just a battleground. Every argument about her is really an argument about what we value: success or sincerity, performance or purity, art or branding. I think ultimately Taylor didn't break the system. She's just the one who figured out how to make it look like empowerment. So, was this the worst thing to ever happen in the history of music? Absolutely not. Will this all probably happen again with her next album? Yes, it happens every single time. When I started this video, I wanted to try to find out why exactly Taylor Swift is always under fire, why every era turns into a moral trial for her, and why people keep circling back to the same arguments: capitalist, racist, fake feminist, pick your fighter. The deeper I went, the more I realized there's never going to be a real conclusion here. Every time we think we've reached the end of Taylor Swift, we're actually just at the start of a new era. Same themes, different packaging. She sheds her snakeskin just to put back on the rhinestones, and the cycle stays the same. And honestly, that's what makes her such a cultural constant. She's not just a musician, she's a mirror. Every generation projects their own political climate, cultural discourse, and pop culture onto her because she's been a constant for that long. And honestly, that's just the price of being Taylor Swift. She is the villain, the victim, the mastermind, and unfortunately, the cringy memes. And no matter what role she plays, the world always either intentionally or accidentally gives her an encore. In 2022, Taylor sang the words, "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." And I don't know, maybe she's right. But one thing we know for sure is that Taylor will come back, like William Afton, no matter how many people try to burn her alive. Despite me being a Taylor Swift lover and having to relive her being canceled every 2 to 3 business days whenever she releases an album, I do think it's actually really cool that there's even discourse like this, that we can talk about power, race, wealth, and art. It means the control isn't just in rich people's hands anymore, it's in ours. The audience isn't passive now. We're part of the system, part of the feedback loop, and part of what decides what flies and what flops. And whether people love her or can't stand her, she still brings everyone into the same room. Every think piece, every meme, every argument, it all connects people through the act of caring about something, even if that something is Taylor Swift and what she's up to. Whether it's a person on their keyboard typing out a 3-page essay all about how she has a secret agenda, or the teenage girl making friendship bracelets to give to her friends before a Taylor concert, which could possibly be the biggest moment of her life up to that point. Taylor brings people together through obsession, through criticism, through community. She's proof that love and hate are just two sides of the same fascination. With all of the internet's mysteries when it comes to Taylor Swift, at least in this era, we found out one thing. That Travis has a big No, actually, it's just that this isn't the Taylor we once knew. She's not the same girl with the guitar in Nashville anymore. The innocence, the control, the polish, it's all evolved into something heavier. And when you've been famous for as long as Taylor Swift has, you learn to roll with both the love and the criticism, because at a certain point, they start to sound exactly the same. And I guess that is show business. Oh my gosh, full circle moment.
I have a lot of respect for people's subjective opinions on art. I'm not the art police. It's like everybody is allowed to feel exactly how they want. And what our goal is as entertainers is to be a mirror. Oftentimes an album is a really, really wild way to look at yourself, right? What you're going through in your life is going to affect whether you relate to the music that I'm putting out at any given moment. And what I often love seeing my fans say is, I used to be someone who didn't like relate to reputation, and now that I've been through some other things in my life, that's my favorite album. Or I used to be a like fearless girly, now I'm obsessed with Evermore. Like, and we're doing this thing for keeps. Like, I have such an eye on legacy when I'm making my music. I know what I made. I know I adore it. And I know that, like, on the theme of what the showgirl is, all of this is part of it.